out in what, Augusta, right?
Ivy. Yep.
Ivy, okay.
Yep.
But still a little bit more country area.
Yep.
No, I still would. We've got this.
Hey, Diane.
Oh, hi, Diane. Stop talking about science fiction and lawns now.
It will be live in 1 minute, Sina. So if you want
That's
to get
okay.
anything in the video.
I figured this was all. I always figure it's live.
Oh, Diane, you're muted.
I figure I'm allowed to chit chat with people about things live too.
As long as you don't mind sharing it. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a pretty open book.
Welcome, Janet.
No, I just let you back in. No, stop it. My dog this time of year. She's been very happy. We got the backyard. We finished the backyard's fencing. So now we can just let her out. And the solar panel people are here finishing up some solar panel stuff. And they're and she's like, I want to go play with the people. I'm like, stop it. She gets out there, she dances around, and then she comes right back and forth, like back and forth, back and forth.
This sounds wonderful. Both the dog and solar. Yay.
Oh yeah, no, 6 cats, a dog, all rescues.
Yeah, I've had dogs all my life until my litter mates that I had died at age 13 and a half. So I'm totally dogless. I didn't know how much I would miss them.
When my daughter was 4, I hadn't had a dog. I had a dog all my childhood. But then when I was a young adult, I just didn't feel like I had the time. I had a dog for a short period of time and then gave it away because I just realized I was working 2 jobs and I just couldn't, it just wasn't fair to the dog that was cooped up in the apartment all the time. But when my daughter was 4, we went and saw my aunt, and my daughter kept sneaking out to the garage to play with the dogs when they were kenneled. So we came home and immediately went to the SPCA and got this dog. And she's a 2-year-old who had been returned like twice to the SPCA, and I never wanted a hound, but we got a hound because she was just the sweetest thing. And she never barked. She's not a big barker.
Well, my dogs were immaculate conceptions. I was taking care of the golden retriever across the road while she was in heat. And I went over and walked her 3 times a day on a leash. And then another neighbor called me, says, Pat's not going to tell you, but the dog's pregnant. It's like, no, it's impossible. So it took a couple of years before their son admitted that he came over and had a pool party and tied the dog to a tree. So I still like to refer to my dogs as immaculate conceptions.
That's awesome.
Hi, Lisa.
Hello. How are you guys?
Good.
It's good to see your face.
See you too.
Autumn, correct me if I'm wrong, but Rebecca just emailed a short while ago and she's not going to be able to join us. So we're still waiting for Judy possibly, is that correct?
Yes, Judy said she could.
Okay.
And I'm going to make this plug. I've been saying this for any pet owner. If you have a pet that sheds, the new Rumbas that are on sale on Black Friday and stuff online, they are saving my allergies. They're much better than they used to be. I'm just saying that. If you can pinch pennies for a little while and put it aside, it will do your mental health good.
How do your cats feel about it?
Hey, Shayla.
My cats are jerks. And they're not scared of it. Instead, they have peed on it twice. So I have taken it apart and cleaned it twice, but still, I am still saying.
Do they do that when it's moving?
No, I think they wait until it hits something that it stops or runs out of a battery and comes over and pee on it. I swear, I've had to like take the sucker apart twice and like clean it out. I'm still saying it's worth it though. None of them are scared of it or riding on it. I can't wait till one of them rides on it.
Autumn, I'm just going to ask one thing. If you have handy Judy's phone number, because she may not have seen Brian's email that came in about, how to get onto Zoom. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I
So-
can see if I can give her a call.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, Rebecca, like I said, was planning on joining us until shortly, like 15, 20 minutes ago. I got an email from her, but Judy is thankfully still agreeing to serve until we get some vacancies filled. So before we call the meeting to order, I'm going to let Autumn see if she can reach Judy to make sure she saw Brian's email.
December 11th is when council will be the meeting, or
The 21st.
we'll be receipt. So things are open until the 11th, and then the 21st
Yes.
will be
Yes.
voting, will be appointing members. I do know, because I put out there on Facebook, and I do know a couple of people who are planning on applying.
Good. Excellent.
I also very much did say we would really love anybody who has any lived experiences with utilizing social services.
Yes. Yes.
You do not have to. You can send a separate email to council if you want to about if you don't want to put it on your application.
Yes.
About what parts of the application are public. So that a secondary email along might be what you want to do. Just to let us know.
Yes.
But we do
That's
want to
excellent.
prioritize that.
That's excellent. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Oh yeah, no. And I also want people to know that there are ticks. My husband got bit by one. We pulled this off him yesterday. And it's a baby
Whoa.
tick, which means they are hatching. So
Ooh, thank
yeah.
you for that warning as I walk early.
Yeah, so just, and this is just from our backyard here in the city.
I'm going to have a question that I could save for the meeting, but people may not be interested. I know that International Neighbors is having a very difficult time right now, and I don't know whether they qualify for SNAP, TANF, whatever. There's lots of appeals that these International Neighbors are looking for, just basics like toothpaste and diapers. And
Tell me this, do you know if they're legal or illegal? And I'd hate that word illegal because I don't think people are illegal. But
my understanding is that the immigration program funds people for like 6 months, but it's not nearly enough.
yeah, that's
for
exactly, yeah.
For a family. I would assume, I don't know if they're actually citizens when they come in through our.
No,
immigration
they don't need to be citizens.
I believe International Neighbors predominantly works with people who are here legally.
And so just tell them to contact our office, and all they have to do is make a phone call. And if their English is not good, we will get an interpreter to assist.
Well, there is a very wonderful woman who, my understanding, and I can't think of her name at the moment, but I think she used to teach school. And then she was doing so much for the International Neighbors that she's now full-time with them. And I'm pretty sure it's a 501c. I've given to it. I know other people have. There's anybody who has an old sewing machine. There are people in the International Neighbors support group that will repair the machine, show them how to use the machine, anything, trying to get these people up and running. But they're having a very difficult time right now because even though some of the people who come in have advanced degrees, they're starting in the US as dishwashers or
Yes.
busboys
Yeah.
as they learn English.
Right.
And so,
Janet, I don't have any machines, but can they use fabric?
absolutely, they can use
I used to sew all the time. I made not all, I made a lot of my kids' clothes. I made all their Halloween costumes. I made, Christmas ornaments for friends and family, but I am not sewing these days. And I have boxes of material that I'd love to donate. So maybe after this meeting, we can talk more about it. How's that sound?
There's a woman, Deb Jackson, who repairs any machine. She downloads the instructions, figures out how to use it, and then shows one person on the waiting list of International Neighbors. But I will be glad to get the fabric to Deb Jackson, or I will send you her email address and you can coordinate directly with her.
That'd be great. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Janet, because I've been trying to figure out who could use this fabric. So, and I have all sorts, from flannels to cottons to wools to you name it. So I'd love to find somebody I could know that they would use it. So, okay. May, hi. I don't know if we knew you were coming or not, but it's good to have you.
Thanks. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
We can.
Good.
Yes.
I've just had mom brain, so.
That's okay.
Been there, done that.
Autumn, are you back with us or?
Yeah, I wasn't
Okay.
able to get hold of Judy, but I did send her another email.
Okay. Well, we've got 5 people right now. So May, do you want to call the meeting to order? All you have to do is call the meeting to order.
I'll call this meeting to order.
Okay. And I don't know if we have any people in the public that are on this in this meeting or not, Brian.
We have one person, it's a reporter.
Okay. So our first line of business is public comment. So I don't know if the reporter wants to say
Well, let's
anything.
find out. If you're in the audience and you'd like to address the board, click the raise hand icon in the Zoom webinar. And no hands are raised.
Okay. Well, and since we have quorum, there are 5 of you on the call. We could approve the October minutes. Hopefully everybody had a chance to read them. And if there are any changes, we should get those in first and vote on those. Any changes to the October minutes? Everybody received them, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
I move that we approve the minutes.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
All right. October minutes are approved. Okay. Any members' reports? I'm just happy to see you all.
I want to say hi to Shayla real quick. I'm sorry. I forgot to say hi to Shayla.
Oh, hi, Stina. Thank you.
Hi, Shayla. I was just going to mention that Birth Sisters of Charlottesville did receive a grant from the city in order to train all of our doulas, which we now have about 25.
Oh, excellent.
on culturally responsive trauma-informed care. And so each one of our current birth sisters will go through that training, and we're really excited to further prepare them for helping our birthing persons in the community.
Wonderful. So needed, Lisa. So very needed. I just love hearing that. It's such a special time for people, but can also be so troubling and trying, especially, you know, if it's your first child or, you know, you have any complications. So that's wonderful. And especially in these times when so often extended family members cannot be there for you. So again, thank you.
Oh, and Lisa, that was part of my project, was training healthcare workers and trauma-informed care. So if I could be any help, or if you have any questions, I certainly have materials and quizzes and all that sort of good resource stuff if you need anything.
Oh, great, May. I really appreciate that. I would definitely be in touch. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other reports from members? There's somebody sneaking up behind you, Lisa. That's beautiful.
Yeah, if we can't have kids photobombing during a social services community work group. then-
Oh, I'll tell you, I live alone right now. Just seeing kids is such a pleasure to me. Such a pleasure. So, okay, so we'll go on to the annual report to City Council. Is that okay with you, May? All right. So, Janet, things have changed. Council is doing reports during their second meeting of the month. Correct me if I'm wrong, Councilor Miguel. But I have been told that our report would be on the December 21st council meeting. And I just don't know. I mean, I want to check and see if that works for you, Janet, or not.
That's fine.
Okay. And then I've also, correct me again, Councilor Miguel, but I've been told that the reports are going to be done first before everything else
Actually at 4 o'clock.
at 4 o'clock on the 21st, which, Janet, if you've watched any of our prior reports to council that have started at 11:30 at night,
Midnight.
I hope 4
Right.
o'clock works for you.
4 o'clock PM works fine.
Yeah, I thought that would be okay, but you know, I never know. You might be busy at 4 o'clock in the afternoon on a Monday. But
I didn't
okay.
realize we were only doing them on the second Mondays.
Well, that was told to me by the clerk of council.
And I know it's, again, COVID makes some communication. I mean, that's fine. I'm glad to know. I mean, yes, that's good.
Okay,
4 o'clock on the second Mondays.
great. Welcome, Judy. It's good to see you. You're muted right now.
Glad to be here. Sorry I'm late.
Oh, that's okay. Didn't know if you'd seen Brian's email. So we're glad to have you here.
Great, great.
So Janet, the 21st works for you. It would be 4 o'clock. I mean, we could go over everything if you'd like. We have a large conference room if you wanted to do it here, or you can do it from your home, your choice, and we can discuss that further. But the main thing we want to do is decide what we want in the report this year. Okay. So, and then I have a week to get it together and send it to the clerk because she needs it a week before the meeting. So, so I really hope we can make decisions about what we want. I think we agreed last time, I mean, we're not going to be doing a large PowerPoint like we usually do. We may have a few statistical pages that we'll send to Brian Wheeler to put up, but it's not going to be an all out, I shouldn't say all out, but it takes a lot of work to put together both the written report and the PowerPoint report. So this will be more of a written report that's going to be delivered. But I want to make sure that I have what people would like in the report. Okay, so when I started thinking about a couple of things that I'd like to do is put up a few, like I said, I want to send a few pieces of paper with some statistics on it. And the statistics I want to show is the large increase in our new benefit program cases since COVID started, because I think that, you know, a lot of this report to council this year is going to be how we're doing business during COVID. We started this way back in March and had no idea that we'd still be not maybe even in the middle of it yet, but we do. I think it's important to tell them how we have shifted gears and how we're getting the business done. Thoughts on that, folks?
I guess there's two segments to that, because you went through a period where you did not have to do in person. And then in August, September,
Right.
it changed, and then you had catch up to do.
Right, catch up on renewals. Yes. So, you know, it's kind of how we shifted gears and how we could put some things on hold in order to get to what was urgent, and then how we had to come back and now we're picking up. And actually, hopefully we'll get on the same council agenda. We did get some extra money for overtime pay from the state for our benefit program workers. So hopefully we can get that on the same council agenda for that approval. But yes, I mean, it's still shifting things that we're doing and that, so it's a continual process. But you're right, Janet, we want how we, you know, immediately tackled the influx of new cases and benefits, but then how all of a sudden come August, we have to start doing our renewals again. That is going to be important. I think it's important to also note how our referrals for CPS went down greatly once children became more isolated from schools, from medical professionals, from oftentimes even from neighbors and extended family members. So I think, you know, we want to make sure that information gets out. Do you agree with that?
Mm-hmm.
The other things, I mean, I was looking at, I've been with the agency almost 28 years now. We have had more adoptions in the past year than in any year by far. So I think we want to celebrate our successes that don't even have to do with COVID. It has to do with the work we're doing. So I'm hoping that you agree that we should look at the number of adoptions that we have and celebrate that. The other thing is we continue to have a really great success with kinship placements. And our success has led to a national foundation, the National Casey Foundation, who we had an interview with. And that comes again, I mean, they probably came from the JLARC report of a couple of years ago, but we had an online meeting with them, telephone, actually, I shouldn't say online, telephone interview with them about how we do so well in finding kinship placements, keeping kinship placements, and some of our adoptions, not all of them by far, but some of our adoptions are kinship placement adoptions also. So I'd like to celebrate that again. That was something we celebrated last year due to the JLARC report, but I think it's important to let them know that just because we're in COVID, we're not stopping. If a child or children have to come into care, we have an immediate family finding, extended family finding, whether, you know, it's biological kin or fictive kin. We are trying to keep children connected to their families, to their cultural heritage, and to people they know. So it's just less shocking if they can't remain in their own home, at least for, you know, and again, we always are working a return home if possible. The only times that we aren't working that is if a parent is incarcerated for extended period of time or parents have died. But other than that, you know, we're looking for return home if at all possible. So so those are things that I think I'd like to look at. And I can tell you that at one point, and this was before I was director, but we had 210 children in foster care at one point, and we're under 100. I mean, well under 100. So I think, that's, looking way back, but we've come a long way. And we have developed our family preservation team. And that's, where we're providing a lot of things that Family First is going to allow us to apply with more federal funds at some point. But we as a locality, and through support of our budget with council, have been doing this for a long time, doing wraparound services to keep children in their family homes. So again, those are the things I'd like to concentrate on, and also that our family services specialists are making their monthly visits. Some of them were, many of them were virtual to begin with, but now they have to do in person. So they're doing it with protective gear and masks, and they are going to the homes, and some of these visits are still being done outside the homes and not inside the home, but they are making their monthly visits as required for every case, whether it's a prevention case or it's a foster care case. But again, those are all the processes that, we haven't dropped any balls. We also, this is, not one of our largest programs, but our child care subsidies are done through done from workers on our VIEW team. And they just got noted recently in the past month by the regional director of the Virginia Department of Social Services for meeting timeliness 100% of the time for the last 3 months of the fiscal year 2020. So that included the months of March, April, and May, which was the COVID beginning here in our state, and they still requests for child care subsidy were all processed 100% timely to get people the assistance they need or qualify for with child care. So I just want to highlight some of the good things that are happening still with staff.
The fact that staff has managed to process all the additional, you put up a chart time before last with
Right.
that. I think that City Council needs to understand that there are hungry people in our community,
Yes.
a lot of them, and that social services workload in processing that has, everything you have done to try to provide food for hungry people needs to be recognized also.
Yes, so we've worked, and a lot of this work, my assistant director has worked with the Department of Human Services in a lot of the food equity stuff, and also getting food out to folks. And so I want to give a lot of credit to my assistant director, Sue Moffett, for that work. She's worked really hard on trying to make sure that, people are not going hungry in our community, although we know there's probably still are people that are going hungry, but we are definitely beyond our SNAP benefits working on that piece of the puzzle also. The other thing I want to bring up with council, which I don't think they know yet, but within the past few weeks, we got notice that the federal government determined that child protective services and adult protective services workers are actually first responders, along with police and fire. And so the states that are state administered, unlike our state, which is locally administered, those states, have to follow that. Our state attorney general said, well, the localities elected officials have to make that final determination, but this was a federal statement. And so I shared that with John Blair, our interim city manager, just last Friday, and so I'm not sure that any of that, but I am looking for a broadcast. I know that it came out. I have to find it that states that so that I can get that information. But and they truly are first responders.
What will that mean?
Well, it means things like if you recall, there was bonuses given out to people that were still working, and police and fire got higher bonuses than the others because they were first responders. So I think there's a number of my staff that, not all of my staff, but there's a number of my staff that should have been considered first responders. So, okay, we haven't had our usual monthly meetings, but I'm sure that I haven't gone through everything that you guys would like on the annual report. So other things that you would like us to include on the annual report?
Diane, is it possible, and this is only if it's possible quickly, with some of the statistics you're going to bring forward,
Right.
if you could also bring forward like 5-10 year, like, so we could so when it comes forward to
Yes,
council,
I
we
can. I mean, what's interesting
a
to me,
longevity.
I have a report from 2014 that I did for Holly Edwards, if you can believe it. God bless her. And I recently found that report again, and some of the statistics that were in that report, so that are older than, a few years. So yes, I can do that.
Yeah, and again, only if it's easy and if some of them have it, but other ones don't, that's okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's might be not apples to apples.
Right.
But I think really seeing that growth period, especially
Mm-hmm.
in things like the kinship placements as
Right.
best as we can, the amount of children in foster care versus the amount of children now not in
Mm-hmm.
foster care.
Right.
And seeing how social services is working over time, and not only are they working towards it, but it's being successful.
Right.
And that what is happening is successful. Because this is one of the markers we're keeping looking for is, okay, we might be doing this, we might be putting money to it, but is it actually successful or not?
Right.
And this is exactly one of those wins that we have been hoping for.
Right. And certainly we'll do that, because I remember when we first started doing foster care prevention, we had one worker. We now have a whole team. And when I took over in 2010 as director, I think we had 2 workers, but we have a whole team now. But we also, our foster care caseload, first off, some of the great kinship work we can do is because they all have smaller caseloads, all of our foster care workers. And, I know another thing we would like to put in the report, we were able to actually ask to change one of our foster care workers into a peer parent support worker. And so this person is going to be helping families, and it will be families, but mainly the parents who are hoping that their children can be returned. She's going to guide them through the processes, what they need to do, hold their hand, assure them that, if at all possible, that their children will be returned home. So, but that again was only possible because our caseloads in foster care have gone down so dramatically in the past 7-8 years.
And I'm so happy to see that. I mean, peer support is such an important component. I mean, that it's one of those things that there's a certain level of trust that comes because someone's already admitting, I mean, they're already saying, hey, I've walked this walk and this is how I did it. You
Right.
might need to do something different,
Mhm.
but I'm here for you. And I have no judgment because I've been there too.
Yes.
And
And to hold their hands. I mean, to hold their hands when they have to go in that courtroom and face a judge, when they maybe have never been in a courtroom before in their life. Or if they haven't seen good things happen in a courtroom. So anyways, yes. So again, that is only possible. We didn't ask for more money to do this. It was possible because we asked to change, delete a foster care worker position and get a parent peer support position. So yes, Lisa.
I'm raising my hand. It feels so odd.
Do you feel like you're in school?
Yeah, but I'm just like, I think with Zoom, it's so hard to know when to jump in places because between the gaps and things where people go out and in and out, you don't know if they're finished talking. But my question was, did you guys decide to have this peer position? And I do remember us talking about it before.
Mhm.
Did you just, I couldn't remember though if there was another place you had seen it work out really well.
It was Washington, D.C.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So
Okay.
they have lots of peer support people, but it was
Okay.
Washington, D.C. It was, I believe, it was our director or our manager of family services who had been at a conference, and they presented at the conference about peer support.
It sounds like it's going to be very promising. I love the idea of like, oftentimes people are saying, well, I just didn't know which way to go. Like,
Right. Right.
so.
Well, and it's interesting because, like I said, we started with our foster care prevention, and it was one person, and then it was two, and now it's a whole team. So I'm not saying we'll have a whole team of parent peer support, but it's a start, and we'll see how well it works, and I believe that it's going to serve our families well. That's my belief and my hope, and we'll see. So,
and I guess another part of the question is what are you thinking in terms of where you're going to look for people to hire?
oh, it's already been advertised, and
Oh, it is advertised.
and
I'm
yeah,
missing
yeah,
stuff. I'm sorry,
yeah,
y'all.
yeah.
How far along
So,
are you with it?
yeah, I would have to check on that. I'm not sure.
Oh, that's okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Diane, how is the parent support worker different from the foster care prevention worker?
Well, the foster care prevention workers are really getting into process all of the services that we want to provide, wraparound services for the family to prevent foster care. The peer support person will be working not with just prevention workers, but with parents who are trying to gain their children back into their home. So return home parents. So and guide, those are the parents that have to go to court, and guide them through the court process, and guide them through, to help them understand if there's a family partnership meeting, the importance of those meetings, and to help guide them into, okay, help them look, and they're not the foster care, if their children are in care already, they're not the foster care worker who, is working for the safety of the children, but they're the person who's helping the parents understand the system and what they need to do, and sometimes it's as simple, and this sounds crazy, I know, but sometimes it's as simple as how to dress appropriately to go into court. If you've never been to court before, you may not know, and you can't say that dress is going to make any difference, but there are certain little things that everyone doesn't know, and they can inadvertently be making a difference. And I mean, I just took that, off the top of my head. There are other things that, just how to address the judge, how to, listen, how to, they are, always offered an attorney that is their attorney, and the importance of taking that attorney, because sometimes it's like, I don't want to deal with an attorney, or they're afraid to deal with another attorney because of past experience with attorneys. And so it's all those little things that if it comes from somebody who's already had the experience, and is a community member. I mean, we're not looking to hire somebody from Norfolk or somebody from, we're looking for a community member. I mean, not that we can eliminate any but other applications, but we're really looking for a community member who is going to, you know, be what I call the hand holder and the guide, in order to make it most likely that they can have their children returned home. So anyways, we feel good about it. We feel good about the fact that this is, you know, something that is not going to be the foster care worker, but it's going to be somebody that's there for the parent or parents specifically. Does that make sense?
I have a question.
Yes.
Will you be able to talk about in the report the Casey Foundation and that?
Oh, yes.
You
We'll
got-
talk about that. We had, you know, that they had contacted us,
Yeah,
you
okay.
know, and again, I believe they did because of the JLARC report, but the Casey Foundation's a national
It's a well-known
foundation.
foundation.
Yeah.
I think
And,
it's
you know,
important
their
for the
main,
council.
yeah, and their main offices, their largest main office is in New York City. But, and again, they contacted us during COVID. So, you know, we did a telephone conference with them.
Yeah, no, that's important for the council to realize that they
Yes.
contacted us here.
Right. In little Charlottesville, Virginia.
Not so little and not so unknown anymore.
I can't remember if last year we had a pie chart with the funding that you all.
Oh, yes, the federal state funding. Would you like that again? I mean, that's easy enough to get.
And I,
Okay.
I think it shows that a small amount of local money
Right.
leverages a lot of community support.
Yes, we can definitely do that pie chart. Again, that's really easy to put together. We have the chart already. We just have to plug in the numbers and so we can do that.
Diane, I was also wondering, and this is just in talking about the navigate the peer support and
Mhm.
foster. What about, I mean, just after a while looking at this and doing something similar in family preservation?
Yes, well, like I said, we started the whole family preservation team with one person. And so we, you know, and it's a matter of funding again. I mean, and right now, of course, we can't increase our budget at all. And so, and we were able, because of our decrease in foster care, we were able to convert a position. But certainly I would like to see that maybe it can be more than one, maybe more than two, more than three. But right now, we first want to, you know, start small, make sure it's working, and have plenty of support for the person who is in that position, because, you know, they're going to feel torn at points, I'm sure. And so it's not necessarily going to be all that easy. And we've got to be very aware of that this is not someone to support the foster care worker. This is somebody to support the parent or parents or grandparents or whoever had custody of the children. I mean, this we have to make really clear, although they won't have a supervisor that's not supervising some other aspect of family and children's. But
I think exactly that would also be very important to put into the report with council, is that this is not to support the foster care worker, but to support the parent.
Right.
Very clearly, like,
right.
I just think that line you just said right there is like a very key component. Is very clear.
Okay.
I would think that would make a huge difference in maybe getting the parent to view social services less as adversarial and more as providing a team to work together towards a goal.
Yes. Yes. I mean, I you know, I had 3 children. I was a single parent, and I'll tell you what, I can't imagine somebody, you know, taking my children into foster care. I mean, the thought of it, I can't even imagine. It almost brings tears to my eyes now, and they're all in their 30s, you know. But I just think, you know, a lot of the times what happens, it's not abuse. The majority of our cases are classified as neglect. Well, a whole lot more difficult to support your family if you're poor. Find adequate child support, you know, find a job that will pay all the bills and keep an adequate housing, you know, over your head. And some people, I mean, just because they're poor, it doesn't mean they don't have pride. And some people, their pride gets in the way of asking for help, you know, and if those are the situations, often these end up to be prevention cases. But there's other times where people have a difficult time keeping people out of their home that shouldn't be in their home. There's so many things that we know this. When you talk about equity, so much of financial equity is a real struggle for many of the parents whose children come into care. And so I'm looking forward to seeing how this goes and happens. And, you know, I just, again, the presentation done by the DC workers duly impressed our chief of family services. And it was an idea she brought back. And so, again, with our decrease in foster care, we've had the ability to change one of those positions, which is really great. And if the foster care caseload stays down, you know, we may be able to do that again without more money. But even if this works really well, we get through this pandemic, you know, we had tight budgets during the recession too. And we managed and we got through it, and then there was more money later. So, you know, hopefully if this works well, you know, we can, you know, either again decrease our foster care workers or just ask for another peer support worker in the following year's budget. So we'll see how it all goes, but so far we're excited about it and hopeful.
I have a question. So
Yes.
are you guys going to support those people to go through the state certification for peer support?
You know, I don't know the answer to that, so I'd have to get back with you, Lisa, on the answer to that. But certainly we will be supporting training just like we do for the rest of our staff. And what training, you know, will be worked out. So I don't have a definite answer on the specific training that we'll be sending the person to. Right now, we're not sending people to any trainings, but the trainings are happening online.
Right.
and in reality, you know, everything will be better when we can do things in person. I don't know. I love seeing all of you, but I certainly would love to be in the same room with you someday.
Yeah. Well, I just brought that up because it's a good opportunity for that person also, if they're going to be doing this work, to gain the hours towards them getting a certification from the state.
Yeah.
And so it's a win for them.
Yeah. And the peer support, I don't know if, you know, if it's specific to different services. So I just don't know the answer to that. So I wish I could speak more directly about it, Lisa, but I can't at this point. I don't want to agree to something that we then find out that this isn't really what the person needs for training. But definitely the person will be getting training, not just internal, but external, even if it's online to begin with.
Well, I also, because that they give you, if you look at the Virginia Board for Certification, that can help you guys in the guidance for what a peer support specialist really is and what the types of training they need. And although it's specific for your organization, that's the part you can add. But that person, if they can receive that professional peer support piece, then you're also building that person to be successful career wise.
Right. Right. And man, we want that to happen too.
Yeah.
You know, so So, Janet, are you going to feel confident? I mean, I will definitely be on the call with council, and are you feeling confident that if we get you the report, I mean, again, we'll send a few slides, but we won't be and we'll send the written report to council, but you know, you'll just be doing the report.
I'm hoping that once you have that I'll have time to talk with you.
Yes, we can get together. Yes.
That I prefer not to just read it to council. I'd like
Yes.
to know enough to talk about it. So
Yes.
give me some time that week.
Right. So we needed to the clerk of council before that week. And so we will do that. And then the week before, you and I can schedule a meeting. And if you'd like, we can do it in person because we have a large conference room here, but that's up to you. If you'd rather do it, you know, via Zoom, we can do that too. Okay. Does that work?
Yes, I'll probably ask to do it by Zoom because of being vulnerable and living with a vulnerable person. So.
I certainly understand that. No problem. Okay. And then I want to say, is everybody okay that we're not looking at electing until hopefully we'll have some new members after council's meeting to appoint board members. Hopefully we'll have some new board members. Are you willing to wait till then to have a chair and vice chair elected, or would you like to move on that? It's up to you. It's your board.
I think we should wait, but what do other people think?
I'm in favor of waiting.
People are shaking their, oh
yeah,
we got
waiting.
the baby.
Oh, sugar. Oh.
Oh, how sweet. How sweet.
What a plump baby.
Growing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is she
Oh,
sleeping?
May.
She's sleeping?
Yeah.
Beautiful, May.
Oh gosh.
My husband had to run out for a minute, so I just had, I got her.
Oh my
You
goodness.
do have her. Look at her, mommy.
Oh. See, this is when we were wish we were in person more, even that you could bring the baby to the meeting. You know, oh, wonderful! Thank you, Brian. Oh, how sweet! How sweet, May. Oh,
Thanks.
are you exhausted?
Very exhausted.
I remember those days. Oh, so precious, so precious.
I can almost smell that head.
Tell your husband thank you for walking out for a minute. Okay, folks. Anything else for today's
We were
meeting?
just double checking that nobody cared, that nobody had strong feelings about staying, I guess electing people before the new people. Did we come to a consensus on that?
I agree that we wait.
I mean, I agree that we wait too. I just wanted to make sure that we would really finalize that. And the baby.
Yeah. I think we should wait, but I think it'd be a good idea, you know, to really start thinking about if it's something that you're interested in. Because, you know, as new folks come on board, it'd be nice to have a little bit of like guidance and leadership from the board.
Everybody in agreement on this? Okay, I'm seeing heads shaking.
Yep.
Okay. And then again, I want to ask, we haven't set the date, but we're probably going to do it at a 2:30 meeting I have today. We are going to have our staff lunch. We've been having town hall meetings once or twice a month with all staff, but online. And December, since we can't have our annual December celebration of the holidays with staff. And as you know, for those of you who've been on the board a while, we usually, you know, have it in the basement of, I can't even remember the name of the business that has the building across the street now, but we usually have it in their basement conference room. And
SNL.
is it still SNL?
I
Maybe
think
not.
it's S&P Global now.
Yeah, I knew there was a global in there. Yeah, but they keep changing their names. So anyways, we usually have in the basement and have it catered, and we're not going to be able to do that this year. But our December town hall meeting, we're going to make it our holiday luncheon. So staff are going to get a gift certificate to one of the grocery stores so they can buy their own lunch. And then we will just get online the way we're online now in a Zoom meeting. But I'm assuming you guys would like to join us. Is that true?
Sure.
Okay.
What's the date again?
We don't have the date yet. We're going to
Oh, you
decide
don't?
that at
Okay.
a meeting this, well, I have a 2:30 meeting this afternoon with my managers and we're going to decide the date then. So,
Great. Okay.
so I'll let you guys know. Okay.
Sounds good.
Sound good? Hopefully that some of you can join us, and you know, it's going to be a whole different ball game than when we would have the basement ones and have caroling and games and that kind of stuff, because that's a little more difficult. But we would, you know, you're certainly welcome to join us for that. Okay. Okay. Any other business, folks? The director's report is pretty much what we've already gone over as far as what we want on the annual report, or what you want on the annual report, I should say. Anything else? Again, I know it's online, but I'm just so happy to see y'all. And know that you're healthy and well, and you know, I hope you and your families stay healthy and well. I'm going to be with just one friend over Thanksgiving, socially distanced between at the opposite ends of my dining room table. But I God bless I only have one child that still lives in town, but he's a teacher and he's in, you know, one of the elementary schools in El Moreno County that's had a number of cases of COVID. And so he and his fiance will not be at my dining room table, but we'll FaceTime. It'll still be a nice Thanksgiving, but I just wish you all the best, and hopefully you all stay safe and well, and may you take care of that little girl.
Thank you, staff, for all that they're doing. Amazing.
Yes. If you join us, you know, when we have our luncheon, you know, people, you know, just raise their hands if they want to talk, so you can, you know, if you can join us at that luncheon online, that will be great too, but you'll get an invite for it. Okay. And I definitely will tell them that, you know, for those of you that aren't with us, that you've said thank you. They're doing amazing work. And for me, it's just an honor and a privilege to work with them all. It really is. I can't imagine any other position, job, agency, department I'd rather be in right now. So sincere thanks to all of you for continuing to serve your community too, in lots of ways, and certainly on our board. I really appreciate it. And Judy, thank you for staying with us.
Oh, you're welcome.
Do appreciate your insights and what you provide, and what
you're
you've
welcome.
provided for over 8 years for this community.
I can't even believe it.
Yeah, but I appreciate you staying with us until council has a chance to look
No
at
problem.
applications and so much. So, all right. That's all I have, folks.
Okay, a short meeting. That's okay.
All right. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving, everyone.
Same
Take
to
care,
everybody.
everyone.
Thank you.
Bye now.
Bye.